This cat saved this fawn from certain death. A black and white cat was desperately trying to flag down a car. It was late at night and the car's alarm was going off. The cat did not care. It continued meowing loudly and kept jumping onto the hood of the car. A man got out of the car to see what was going on, and that's when he saw two glowing eyes in the bushes behind him. He almost ran away, but then realized it was just a little kitten. Still, he had no idea why the kitten was trying so hard to get his attention. Then he noticed there were hundreds of bees swarming around the bush, and more kept coming. He quickly understood what was going on. There was a baby deer stuck inside the bush, and the bees were killing it. The cat wanted the driver to do something, but how could he understand? And even if he did, how could he possibly save them both? The cat meowed frantically as it tried to push the kitten away from the danger. But the kitten wasn't having any of that. It wanted to help its friend and wouldn't be ignored. The driver felt a sense of urgency and knew he had to act fast. With careful movements, he began to brush away the bees, hoping to free the trapped animal. As the swarm thinned, he reached out a hand to grab the fawn, but it was too late. The bees had already dealt enough damage and the fawn was barely clinging to life. As the sun set over the horizon, casting long shadows across the ground, the driver found himself in a race against time. With gentle persistence, he managed to coax the injured fawn out of its hiding place. The moment that tiny body hit the floor, the cat let out an ecstatic meow, as if thanking the driver for saving its friend's life. But their troubles weren't over yet. The driver needed to get these two animals home, but they were scared, hurt, and tired. How would he ever get them into his car? Well, the driver had a great idea, but first he needed to do something very important. He took off his shirt and wrapped it around the fawn to stop the bleeding. Then he put the shirt back on and carried the fawn toward his car. The kitten followed closely behind. He gently placed the fawn on the seat, making sure it was comfortable before starting the engine. The cat jumped into the car and curled up next to the fawn as if comforting its friend. The driver proceeded to take them both home, but once they arrived, he had another problem. How could he convince two wild animals to come inside his house? He knew the answer lay in food, but what kind of food would attract these two animals? The driver went into his kitchen and prepared some milk and biscuits for the fawn. As the sweet smell filled the air, the fawn couldn't resist and started drinking the milk. The kitten was curious about the food and lapped up some milk as well. The driver wasn't done yet. He also prepared some wet food for the fawn. At first, it hesitated, but then started eating. The sight of the fawn drinking and eating gave the driver a huge smile. Maybe these two animals would become his pets. However, he knew that taking care of a deer would be challenging, especially since it was still so young. Plus, it wouldn't be fair to keep the kitten away from its mother, so the driver had to find a solution. Just then, he remembered something. He had heard of a rehabilitation center that specialized in taking care of wild animals. With that in mind, he picked up the phone and called them to tell them about his discovery. Once they agreed to help, he put the animals back in the car and drove them there. The people at the center were amazed by the driver's quick reactions and praised him for saving the fawn's life. At the center, the animals received immediate medical attention. The staff carefully cleaned the wounds on the fawn's body and gave it medication to prevent infection. The brave cat was given food and water, and the staff praised it for its bravery. After the animals were treated, the driver asked if he could see them again. The staff at the center smiled and told him they had a surprise for him. They led him to a big paddock where they had released the fawn and the cat. The two friends were playing happily together. The cat rubbed against the fawn, purring loudly. It was amazing to see how well they got along. The driver felt this huge lump in his throat, and honestly, he just couldn't hold back the tears. Seeing them safe and sound was like a burst of sunshine on a cloudy day, filling him with pure joy. He knew deep down that bringing them to the center was absolutely the right call. It was a tough decision, but in that moment, it felt like everything fell into place. The relief washed over him, knowing they were out of harm's way. You know, Sometimes you just have to trust your gut, and he really nailed it this time. As the days passed, the fawn grew stronger and healthier under the care of the rehabilitation center's staff. Its fur became shiny, and its eyes sparkled with life. Meanwhile, the brave black and white cat received plenty of love and affection from the center's visitors who had heard about its heroic deed. One day, the staff at the rehabilitation center organized an open house event. People came from all around to see the animals up close and learn about the work the center was doing. Among the visitors was the driver who had rescued the fawn. He couldn't believe how much the little deer had grown in just a few weeks. The staff at the center decided to honor the driver and the cat with a special award for their bravery and quick reactions. The driver was very touched by the gesture and thanked the center for taking care of the fawn. But the most exciting part of the day was when the staff announced that the fawn was finally ready to be released back into the wild. The driver and all the other visitors gathered around to say goodbye to the little deer. Before releasing the fawn, the staff at the center attached a GPS tracking device to its collar. This way, they would be able to monitor the fawn's progress and make sure it was adjusting well to life in the wild. As the fawn took its first steps into the forest, the driver felt a pang of sadness. He had grown fond of the little creature and was worried about its safety. However, he knew that it was the right thing to do. The forest was the fawn's natural habitat, and it needed to be free to roam and explore. In the weeks following the fawn's release, the driver and the staff at the center checked in on it using the GPS tracker. They were relieved to see that the fawn was doing well and had not been harmed by predators or other dangers. The fawn had also grown significantly and was thriving in its natural environment. The news of the fawn's successful release spread quickly, and people from all over the country reached out to the rehabilitation center to commend the staff for their hard work. Some even offered to donate money to help cover the cost of the fawn's care. Meanwhile, the brave black and white cat that had alerted the driver to the fawn's plight became a local celebrity. People from all around came to the center just to meet the cat and give it some extra love and treats. As the years passed, the driver often thought back to the day he had rescued the fawn. He was proud of the role he had played in saving the animal's life and was grateful for the bravery of the black and white cat. He knew that without the cat's help, things could have turned out very differently for the fawn. Now, every year on the anniversary of the rescue, the driver visits the rehabilitation center to see how the fawn is doing. The staff at the center have also kept in touch with the driver and often send him updates on the fawn's progress. In the driver, the cat and the rehabilitation center staff had not only saved the fawn's life, but had also formed a deep bond with each other. They had faced adversity together and had come out stronger because of it, and as the years passed, their friendship only grew stronger.